Hey Aaron, finally I'm making this video to show you a little bit how a cTrader bot is done. Well, here you can see the previous bot we made, the martingale bot, and we're going to make one from scratch. Of course, this trend acceleration bot, I already made it. The hardest thing to do is, how to figure out the logic, how an idea we have in our heads is going to be coded, and a logic is going to be executed by an algorithm, and that's what takes more time. The code part and the syntaxes of C# is maybe easier, or for me I think it's easier. So this is cAlgo here, not cTrader. cAlgo is the same thing as cTrader, but with the possibility that when you click on the bot, you will see the internal code of it. So we're going to make here, we are in cbot new, and we have this new bot here that we have to make from scratch. In this first video, I will teach you what's the general layout of a bot. We mainly I'm going to use some developer language because I know you are a PHP developer, but maybe sometimes I will try to make things as simple as possible. In case I don't know what's your level of development skills, so I will try to make it simple. It's easier for everyone. So in general, what cAlgo is doing is using using a C# class. Okay, there's a class called robot. We instance or we inherit that class, and we extend the internal methods that class has. Okay, that's the object-oriented approach of cAlgo. There's no need to know object-oriented programming or anything like that to make a bot. It's simpler than that, but if you understand how a class works and what is inheritance and what is overriding a method, it will be much more easier. Because in general you have, let's say, 3 big parts in a bot. Okay, here it's the same for every bot. There's where you say, hey, please give me a new class called, let's call it trend acceleration, that inherits the class robot. It's totally necessary to inherit this class robot. Is the class made by the developers of cAlgo and cTrader, and all the robots has to inherit this class. Okay, this is the first part of the bot. Is the same thing for every bot, just give it a new name, and that's all you need. Then let's separate this. You have the, let's say, the parameters part. Okay, that's the second important part of a bot, and there's a third part that is the main methods or functions part. Okay, here are the main methods that we're going to override, and here are the parameters that we are going to establish. There are two kinds of parameters. We have the public parameters that they are the user inputs. Okay. The main thing is here. This thing between the brackets, it's more advanced. I won't touch it a lot. It's very specific of C#. The most important thing is here. Okay, here's where you say you establish a parameter that an user can change later. Okay, here in this bot, I'm going to code the complete bot. Okay, here in this bot we have, let me see, 7 parameters we're going to use. Okay, all of the parameters are taken, of course, out of your instructions. I try to follow your instructions as strictly as possible. Of course, there are sometimes some restrictions where it's impossible to turn into code that logic, but normally it is possible to code every logic into code. So there are our 7 parameters. We have different names. We have the evaluation time. We have what I call the phase to acceleration threshold. And we have other 5 that I'm going to paste here to make things quicker. What I want to tell is that all the parameters have the same public. Here you establish what do you need, and remember that C# is not like PHP in the sense that it's more like C++ or C or Java that are strictly typed languages. When you establish a variable, a parameter is just a variable, you need to establish first what is it. If it's an int, an integer, if it's a double, that's the most common types, and it can be any kind of object that is available on C#, like, I don't know, an array, or yes, an array, or I don't know if you use dictionaries, but any kind of object that C# admits. Okay. For this bot, we're going to use just doubles and ints. Okay. Here you put the type. Here you put the name of that variable. You always have to put this get set, even if you don't use it. And in this square bracket that's called a decorator, it doesn't matter here. The only thing is good to know is that you can here put what the user is going to read. For example, let's put here evaluation time in seconds. Okay, comma, and then you put the default value. Let's say the default value is 15 seconds. Okay, you put other parameters here as the mean value. Okay, let's say 0 or 1, because you can have an evaluation time less than 1. You also can put max value, but let's not use that here. And as this is a double, you can put maybe a step when the user needs to put, I don't know, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Well, the step would be 0.5. Okay. We don't need this here. It's not necessary. We only need the default value and the mean value. And that's the same for all the parameters. Okay. you have the public, the type, it may be an integer, the name of the parameter, how the user is going to see it here, okay? When, I don't know, maybe when I put this here, evaluation time in seconds, you can see here, okay, that was put into that, okay, we're here again. Let's build this, okay. So that's the same thing for each one of them. I will go here and we'll just copy and paste everything I already did. Okay, as you can see, the same thing. Let's here with an integer. We have the entry acceleration periods. I'm going to explain you that because it's not exactly as you asked that, but I will explain you that. That's an integer. That's a parameter. This is a parameter name. Entry acceleration periods. I'm going to use that later in the bot with that name. I have a default value and bin value, and then we have all the different parameters. We have the evaluation time in seconds, the phase 2 acceleration threshold. That means the threshold, the acceleration has to arrive to enter in the phase 2. We have the entry acceleration threshold. When we are on the phase 2, what's the acceleration that it has, the market needs to maintain in order to enter into the market. And we have the entry acceleration periods. You establish at the beginning that we're going to have an evaluation time in seconds. Maybe we're going to evaluate each 10 seconds or 20 seconds what's the speed and the acceleration of the market. And then when we enter into phase 2, we're going to need 13 seconds after that phase 2 in order to enter into the markets. That's not possible because of a restraint of cAlgo, but I changed that with these entry acceleration periods, and I will explain that later. And we have the same thing for the exit acceleration threshold and exit acceleration periods. And of course, we need the volume in lots. Okay, the default value is 1. Here we have an example of the step. We can have, 0.01 lots. That doesn't exist in the Forex market. So the step is 0.01. So we build this, build succeed. That means that everything is fine. The compilation is well done. So we theoretically, the code is fine to this moment. There's no errors. In the next video, I will explain not the public parameters, but the internal parameters of the bot.